Illinois state lawmakers back at it today before they head out for the weekend. And then I believe they're coming back next week. After that, they got 2 weeks off for spring break. And they have been, pretty busy while they're at the State House. Let's take a look. That's just some of what they passed yesterday. Again, you can go to the Illinois General Assembly's website and ilga.gov. Again, ilga.gov. And there you can click on legislative reports underneath reports and inquiry. And if you click that and go through and you see a whole bunch of links, go down to the date inquiry reports. And there you can do a drop down. Yesterday was the 23rd. Let's get that right. And then you click on, let's see how many bills passed the Senate. All right. So the Senate, no, I got to change that date. Come on. Let's go back, change the date. The 23rd, click that. Okay, we're good. And then bills that passed the Senate. All right, so here we go. There were 36 bills that passed the Senate. Not a bad day. They had a lot of different issues they wanted to tackle, and just reading some of the short titles of these. One dealing with cybersecurity, one dealing with phone solicitation and spoofing, another one dealing with guardian appointment for probate court. This one, animal welfare dog dealer, that spurred a little bit of debate in as much as a 32-16 vote. What exactly does this do? Provides that at retail to the public means selling or offering or sale companion animals rather than only animals at a brick and mortar establishment that's been obtained from breeders or brokers of compensation not bred on its premises. So yeah, it deals with dog breeders. Interesting. So that bill passed and then now is in the House. And you've got other measures that passed. This one was interesting. Dealing with guaranteed income. What exactly does this bill do? Guaranteed income. So my teammate for the Center Square actually covered this, and what it is it's a measure that exempts unconditional subsidies from medical finance assistance considerations. All right, so what is a guaranteed income pilot program? It is unconditional subsidies. Now, people do have to meet a certain income threshold in order to get, for instance, Chicago's guaranteed income, quote unquote, program, where I think they get like $500 each. The Chicago Resilient Communities Pilot Program offers 5,000 eligible residents up to $500 a month for 12 months. Which was a $31.5 million program introduced by Mayor Lori Lightfoot. So I think what happened here was you had a program in place. People were getting these unconditional subsidies. They could spend the money on whatever they wanted from this guaranteed income pilot program. But really what it is it's a taxpayer subsidy without any conditions to certain qualifying individuals. That was being considered income, at least as part of those who were seeking medical assistance. There was a little bit of debate on this on the floor, and we'll hear some of that now. The state senator sponsoring this bill was Christina Pasiones-Zayas, and she talked about what exactly this bill would ultimately do and why she is supporting
this. This is statewide, the program. There's no preferential treatment. It is means tested. You have to meet a particular economic threshold, which is 250% of the federal poverty line.
She said this is a program that's needed for those individuals impacted by it.
This is not a get-rich-quick. This is not any type of scheme. This is not unfair. What's unfair is that you're not able to make a livable wage in most parts of this state.
But some Republicans opposed it. State Senator Dale Fowler said that it favors individuals who don't want to work in getting subsidies to continue not to work.
I just don't believe that it's right that if you have two people who both earn $10,000 a year from one job, and another from a guaranteed income program, that these incomes should be treated differently.
And Wynn Stoller, a Republican from Peoria, also had similar concerns about encouraging people not to work.
I think there's an unfairness issue because one's getting a benefit in being able to qualify for additional benefits and the other's not. And it seems like we're creating a disincentive to work in that situation. And I appreciate your comments on the bill, but it doesn't really seem like you addressed that particular example.
So that measure ultimately passed the Illinois Senate, just part of several dozen bills that passed the Illinois Senate. Again, 36 bills advancing yesterday. Now is a totally different story in the Illinois House, where this week alone they have passed more than, 150 bills one day, 120 bills another day, 40 bills another day. I mean, it's just been, they've been flinging bills out of the House like mad. So how long is this? 142 bills they passed yesterday. 142 bills passed out of the House yesterday. Again, 142. That's on top of the 101 that they passed on Wednesday, and I believe that's on top of the 40 some odd bills they passed out of the House on Tuesday. We've talked about some of these bills, including the measure that would give criminal penalties to the employers if they interfere in a strike, and that was passed on Wednesday. But let's just look at some of what they passed here in the House. They passed another dog breeder insurance protection dealing with dogs. Charter school union neutrality. What is this? House Bill 1120. Let's take a look. And this is amending the charter school law. School code provides that any renewal of a certified charter school must include a union neutrality clause, require a union neutrality clause to be included in charter school proposal, and it defines a union neutrality clause. This got 66 yes and 42 no votes, with one person abstaining. Obviously, it's pretty contentious when you look at that vote total. Union neutrality clause being required under this bill when it comes to charter schools. Looking at others, you got stuff about the school report card, long-term care ombudsman, student assistance, Constitution Day. Amy Ellick getting that passed. Let's see what that says. It amends the school code, provides that Constitution Day, September 17th, shall also be a commemorative holiday, effective July 1st, 2023. So, making that a commemorative holiday, Constitution Day. And then you get, just looking at this list, it's just gobs and gobs and gobs of different bills that are now heading towards the Senate. A lot of them already still in the Senate. Sustainability disclosures, that's having a bit of a split vote, 79 to 26. Others, you're looking at some were passed unanimously by everybody who was there. Others, not passing unanimously, mostly along party lines. So a lot of different bills passed. It's going to take a bit to go through all of these. 140 some odd bills passed yesterday. That's on top of the 101 passed the day before. That's on top of the 40 that were passed the day before. So the House has been busy this week making that happen, getting all these bills at least across the finish line before their deadline tomorrow. But what are some of the minority Republicans having to say about this? We'll hear from the Freedom Caucus. They held a news conference yesterday complaining about real problems not being addressed, like, outbound migration, high taxes, the pension debt, those things not necessarily being addressed or prioritized as they have a mad rush to pass a bunch of bills out of the House before the House ultimately has a deadline today. So stay tuned. We'll get to more of that coming up here on WMAY. One bill that passed the Illinois House yesterday deals with genderless bathrooms. Back at it, looking at 140 some odd bills that passed. This one dealing with, let me make sure I've got it pulled up here just right. Where did it go? There it is. All right. House Bill 1286 passed 60 to 40, barely passing. And it amends the Equitable Restrooms Act. We heard debate on this last month whenever they were putting this together, and it's from Katie Stewart, and she talks about why this is needed at a hearing.
So it creates the opportunity for places, businesses, universities, you name it, to create a multi-stall, gender-neutral restroom.
So it's not a mandate, but it allows for it. So a business could, if they wanted to, they had a, 2 areas where there's multiple stalls and urinals and whatnot. They can just slap on a genderless, neutral, whatever sign that says, open to all, I guess. So, men could go into women's restrooms and vice versa and so on. So interesting to see that pass, but it passed 60-40. But yesterday, before they went in and passed 140 some odd bills, the Illinois Freedom Caucus, a group of downstate Republicans, they say that the majority Democrats' agenda is no good for taxpayers. And one of them being State Representative Blaine Wilhauer, he laid out his criticism of what is going on at the Illinois State House. And here's some of what he had to say yesterday at a news conference.
But I think it's important to take a look at some of the things that we are doing in this state that really illustrates that we're not dealing with the real issues. I mean, we've did legislation in the past couple of weeks that is banning the use of pronouns of boy and girl when referring to children in statute, requiring school buses to go all electric, 100%. I think within 10 years. That sounds really realistic. Requiring menstrual products to be put in all public restrooms. That's going to have people, rushing to get back to this state. Allowing a member of the General Assembly or a constitutional officer to certify or solemnize a marriage in Illinois. So, we're not dealing with our pension crisis or anything else, but we can all officiate marriage ceremonies now. Further muddying up the waters on marriage and defying laws of other states by allowing couples to marry in Illinois that don't intend to stay in Illinois. We reverse that ban. We've also banned the declawing of cats. We've took away local control of library boards and parents, took away parents' local discretion to prevent their children from basically government-sanctioned indoctrination with some of the books full of propaganda. We've, there was even a move on the floor of the House yesterday to an anti-gas stove agenda to put warning labels on gas stoves because they're apparently destroying everything. But thankfully, there was enough common sense Democrats on the floor yesterday that actually put a stop to that. But when you look at this stuff, it's a joke. Once again, our state's a national embarrassment. We're basically a woke dumpster fire of a government that's literally circling the drain, and these are the things we're talking about. We're talking about nothing on the massive pension crisis that's driving property taxes through the ceiling. There's nothing to deal with the 7,000 plus units of government in this state that's taxing everybody into oblivion. There's nothing to address the rampant, epic corruption and influence peddling by basically a long-standing Democrat organized crime syndicate that's had free reign in this place for decades. We're not doing anything about that, and that's absolutely ridiculous. And that when we've done nothing to keep a governor in check who has shown that he is more than willing to trample, to trash all over the Constitution in order to enact his agenda.
So that's State Representative Blaine Wilhauer saying that Illinois is a woke dumpster fire as the House passes 140 plus bills yesterday. That's on top of 101 bills the day before. That's on top of 41 bills the day before that. And the Senate passing around 38 bills yesterday. They're back at it again today. We'll see what they do. It's now 8 o'clock.
From the Fly